everybody. We're here today to talk to you about our experiences in Mexico. I am Yang, and she is...
Ying. Wait.
Well, we are the yin and yang. And we are here to talk to you today about the experiences that we've been having over the last 4 days in regards to trying to receive a Moneygram in Mexico. It's absolutely ridiculous. We've probably walked about 30 kilometers, which correlates to about 11 or 12 miles over the past 4 or 5 days. And
lots of steps.
Lots and lots and lots and lots of steps.
So, what we have determined is that here in Mexico, it is very different. It's very different here in Mexico. And the differences that there are good and bad, but really there really isn't.
Mainly good.
There really aren't that many shitty things. We were talking about this on the bus.
Yep. But the shitty things really aren't that bad. They're things that are very tolerable. They're easy to get over. They're easy to
get used
to or become accustomed to. And one of the things is the roads. The roads are really bad. If you have a car, which we don't because we don't really need one, the roads are really bad. Like, they've got lots of potholes. There's a road right up the street from our house that when you're riding on the bus, it literally is riding like this. It's absolutely insane.
You know how texting on a US bus is like this? And texting on a Mexico bus is like...
So, politicians, please fix the roads. Please.
We will vote soon.
Yes.
But until then, consider
fixing the roads.
Also, the idea of skateboarding and rollerblading is just kind of out of the question. And the idea of walking in high heels is out of the question.
I ride my longboard every single day, but there have been times that I have fallen on my longboard and I have completely destroyed my hands because I've fallen and the roads are really bad. And
there are these little holes in the sidewalk that if you are not looking, you will fall right in a hole.
Yep. Literally.
They're big enough to, sometimes they're big enough to fall into, sometimes they're just big enough to totally trip you, something maybe this big.
But sometimes they're big enough for you to fall down and then almost break your knee.
Yeah.
Been there, done that. It's not very fun.
So those are the shitty, well,
that's one
shitty thing.
One of the other shitty things is the sewage. The way that the sewage runs here is really, really bad. Sometimes you'll be walking outside and you'll be like, that guy had corn.
Ew. Okay, but seriously, there are little, if you're crossing a street, it'll be only from the one side of the street to the other side of the street, but it'll smell like pure sewer.
Absolutely gross. But
it's only for a brief moment.
And it comes and it goes, and sometimes it's worse than sometimes, but it's something that you can get used to because you're just like, ew, that stinks, move on. Or
you're like, ew, and then by the time you breathe again, it's gone. Yeah, it's not there anymore.
And then one of the other things that sucks about Mexico's lifestyle is the water pressure. For some of the places that we've been, I personally took a shower in Chihuahua, and I didn't take a shower in Chihuahua. I took a trickle in Chihuahua. It wasn't very nice.
But we don't live in Chihuahua.
We live in Guanajuato, but our previous apartment that we lived in was... It still had really shitty water pressure, and it wasn't very good.
I literally made him pick me up in the shower to wash my pretty parts.
Which, by the way, is dangerous. Do not attempt this at home.
It was dangerous, but I felt like it was important because I didn't feel like I was getting enough pressure
but
down there.
Sometimes it's better than other times. But the apartment that we're in right now has really
great water pressure.
It's great. And we don't have a complaint about the water pressure anymore. But some people have less water pressure and some people have more water pressure. Plus, if you're on like the 3rd floor of a building, if your water doesn't work, then you need to go downstairs, flip on the pump, and then go back upstairs. So if you're like in the middle of a shower and your water cuts, you gotta like dry off real quick, freezing fucking cold, run downstairs, flip the switch for the water pump that pumps it all the way upstairs, and then run all the way back upstairs and hope that you didn't like...
It's a little more hands-on do-it-yourself-y.
It is. And...
I mean, but it's easy to get used to.
It's very easy to get used to.
You just gotta get the hang of doing things your fucking self.
Exactly. It's more personalized and it feels like the 90s.
It's
pretty
like
nice.
the 90s. I mean, basically, the other minor complaints I'll throw in the suggestion box would probably include the lack of free Wi-Fi spots.
It's okay.
But like we said, it just feels like we're back in the 90s.
Yeah.
And the... What else was there?
There was...
Oh! And the sewer system, part of that is tied to trying to get used to the fact that you cannot flush anything down the toilet. Ever.
Yeah, if... You know how if you live in the United States and you've been that rude asshole that complains about the Mexicans putting their toilet paper in your trash can?
They're being polite.
They're being polite and considerate because they don't realize that in the United States you have such a high water pressure that you can flush anything. You can flush a baby down the toilet in the United States. Here...
And sometimes you do.
And sometimes you do. But that's beside the point. Here, you can't put anything in the toilet because if you do, it's going to get clogged and you're going to overflow. And you don't want that.
And look, even if they do realize that they actually can flush stuff down the toilet, let me tell you, it is a hard habit to break.
It very much is.
And I was only here for like a few weeks before I really got the hang of doing that. And then I had to go back to the United States. And I was like, oh, I just threw that in the garbage.
But that's the only other real qualm we have with Mexico. But it's not even really a problem.
Yeah.
But
you get used to it, and as long as you use scented, well, everything is scented, by the way.
All your toilet paper here is scented.
Toilet paper.
You cannot buy unscented toilet paper. It does not exist.
And I have scented wipes.
Scented toilet paper, scented wipes,
toilet paper is my nemesis.
Scented trash bags. I mean, there's a number of different things that are scented that you don't have to worry about being like, well, shit, if I put this in the trash can, is my bathroom going to smell like crap? No, it doesn't. Because they have...
I thought it would, but it doesn't.
It doesn't, unless you like literally don't like change your trash for like a month or two or something like that. Then it might start stinking, but that's just because you're lazy.
We have a pretty big box in there. We're pretty lazy. And it doesn't stink, so.
Yep.
So anyway, then there's the good there. So anyway, then there. Okay.
There are the amazing things about Mexico. I don't even really know where to begin because there are so many of them. For example, today we were adventuring trying to get our Moneygram situation worked out, which it still is not worked out. We're still fucking sitting here waiting on it. But we had 2 different people help us today.
Part of our problem here is language barrier.
Language barrier, yeah. We're not completely fluent in Spanish, and I'm better at listening to things, and she's better at speaking. So, with...
Oh my god, it's like we compete each other's...
Sandwiches!
Wait, what?
Wait. Oh, sorry.
Oh my god, it's like... Hey, wow.
Anywho. So, the people here are beyond friendly.
Okay, so there's kindness. There's kindness in the U.S. People are kind sometimes. Sometimes people will help you out. We're going to share just a few of the things that have happened to us since we've been here. One thing I can think of off the top of my head was we were in line at the grocery store once and we were taking forever because we were trying to figure out if we were spending every last penny as we do.
Yes, we do. That's how we do it.
Every last peso.
Centavo.
And we were taking forever because we were trying to figure out, should we get paper towels, or should we get paper plates, or should we get this bag of
rice or whatever.
And so basically we were in line, and normally how people behind you get aggravated, they start rolling their eyes and stuff like that.
Being irritable and, hey man, hurry up dude, we got places to go, man.
Yeah, or they just sit there silently stewing in their anger and hatred for you.
Feel their eyes on the back of your head.
And basically instead of that happening, people didn't get less involved with us. They became more and more
aware,
concerned about us. And they were like, do you need money?
Here's 20 pesos. Here, have this.
Have some money. And we're like, no, we're just gonna, figure out what we need. We're really sorry we're taking so long, because we were, and yeah. So their move was not to be like, excuse me, I'm in a hurry, or they were just like, are you okay? Can we help you? Can we give you some money? She just pulls money out of her pocket and started handing us money.
Yeah. It was absurd.
So,
people care about your well-being here.
Okay, so then at the bank.
And then at the bank, this lady, after we had sat there for an hour or so at this bank trying to figure out the Moneygram situation, this was yesterday, we were frustrated because it wasn't working. Well, this lady came up to us and said, ¿Qué estás haciendo? Which means, what are you doing? And then
¿Qué es la problema?
¿Qué es la problema? Which is, what's the problem? What can I do to help you? And she literally spent the next half an hour inside of the bank trying to find out how she could go out of her way, and
she went in there by herself
to figure
after
out.
She was already completely done with her business.
Mm-hmm.
She had her receipt in her hand from her transactions that she had made. She came outside, saw us sitting on the steps looking like, what the fuck? And she was like, what's going on? And she, without us, went back into the bank and started talking to them about our situation.
And not only that, this woman had her child with her.
Okay, that's right.
The kid was probably 9 or 10 years old. You know how 9 or 10-year-olds are when they're with their parents at the bank. The kids are like, Mom, I don't want to be here. Hurry up, let's go. So this woman, while with her child, decides that she's going to help two random people that she does not know. She goes back in, works with the bank. We couldn't figure it out there. So then she got us in her car, drove us to another bank that would have taken us about 20 minutes to walk to.
Oh, yeah.
Drove us there.
The bank people suggested we go to this other bank. So she was like, well, I think we can make it. And I'm going like, dude, they're closed in
like
15 minutes.
10, 15 minutes. And she's like, no, I'm going to take you. So we get in her car and she drives us to the bank, drops us off and says, I hope that you can work this out.
I hope this works out for you.
Hope you can get what you're trying to get. And granted, no, we didn't, but the woman went out of her way to completely help two random strangers. Completely random people.
Here's the thing that we were thinking about, and that is that it's not... In the U.S., it seems like it has to be a dire situation before anyone even notices.
Hey man, I got a gun to my head. Can I have Can I have $5? No man, I'll give you 2.
Yeah, I think it has to be extreme. It seems like in the U.S. Okay, for instance, we have been homeless a few times. Driving around in our little car because we didn't have any money, and but we had a car, and we've gone to the Burger King, and he was hungry, so I was like, well, I am gonna go beg for a Whopper for you. I'm going to beg for $1 burger or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So I was walking around, and I asked like 10 people before
she finally got $1.
Somebody was like, here's $1.
$1.
And
today.
That is literally, we are starving. We're starving. We haven't eaten. We need to get a sandwich for him. and I said you could buy it, whatever. I don't even want money. I just want the sandwich.
Seriously.
And people were not willing to do that.
Today, while we're continuing our excursion for Moneygram, it's a long one, we encountered this guy at the pharmacy. This guy went out of his way so much, he bought both of us.
Okay, first thing he did, don't forget, when it got started.
Yeah, when it got started.
So this is how it happened.
We were dealing with the people at the pharmacy, trying to
on the phone, getting the MoneyGram, trying to get the MoneyGram thing worked out.
The guy on the phone wasn't being helpful, and he didn't speak Spanish, and we're trying to very, very poorly translate things to other people so that we can maybe get somewhere with it, and we're getting nowhere. Well, this guy comes up and he says, "I speak English. Let me help you." So.
Well, he wasn't like perfect English.
No, it was
really good.
It was good enough for us to be able to completely understand, and it was very helpful. So he stood there and helped us ask the cashier what we needed to ask that the person on the phone was trying to get us to do.
Several people did that.
Yeah, several people. Three separate people helped us while we're sitting in the pharmacy in the matter of an hour. 3 people. 3. And we didn't ask for it.
3 separate people were like, "Excuse me, can I?" Oh my God, and that happens to me all the time. Like if I'm because we encounter many difficult situations where we can't exactly express what we're trying to say, or we can't understand what they are trying to say to us. Especially because I am pretty
She's
hard
deaf.
of hearing. I'm very hard of hearing.
I could scream in her ear and she wouldn't hear it. I'm just kidding. She's not that deaf.
I'm not deaf, but it's like everything sounds like what it probably sounds like to you
Underwater.
or if you covered your ears.
But anyways, we had 3 separate people helping us, and then the one guy at the very end who helped us at the end, which we still didn't end up getting the MoneyGram taken care of. But
anyway, this guy, he stood there. He took care of his business. He stood there. Once again, this person has already taken care of their own business.
Stood there, waited for about 20 minutes, and was helping us communicate with this person through methods that we weren't able to express because our Spanish is not perfect. We're not fluent.
Our Spanish is very
Our
bad.
Spanish is very far from perfect.
But
after he stood there for 20 minutes helping us, he said, "Hey man, let me buy you some lunch." So,
don't forget, the lady just totally comped me a whole huge bottle of water because I was like, "God damn it, all I want is a bottle of water." And I didn't even think she understood me because she only speaks Spanish.
But she
just
walked from
walked
behind
out.
the counter, grabbed a bottle of water, handed it to her, and said, "No necesitas pagar," which means you don't need to pay. I mean...
Es pagado. She says, "Es pagado," it's paid.
And we stand there, we're waiting, and then the guy, after the lady gave her the water, the guy's like, "Let me buy you guys lunch." So he and I left
and
drove a little ways away for and he was like, "What do you want? Do you want hamburger? Do you want Mexican food? Do you want Asian food? Whatever kind of food you want. Tell me what you want and I will get it for you." So I told him about a torta place that I know that was around the corner because I didn't want the guy to drive very far because he was already doing way more than he needed to do. So he drove over to...
It's a really good torta place.
To the torta place that was around the corner, and he bought us 2 tortas. They're 23 pesos each, which is a little over $1. I'm sorry that this is not going to make any sense to you that food is $1. But...
Especially amazing food.
Amazing food. He bought us 2 tortas and 2 Pepsis. And then drove me back and let me keep the change from 200 pesos. 200 pesos! That is the equivalency of you getting $20 in the United States.
Yeah. So hey guys, like, subscribe, Facebook.
Hey Nikita, what's Bruce Lee's favorite beverage?